They thought she was slipping away. They thought the ICU monitors told the final story. But Thor, her canine partner, refused to accept it. He barked, clawed, and pushed past every rule. And when doctors finally listened, what they discovered left the entire room in stunned silence. Before we start, make sure to hit like and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. The sterile white lights of the ICU flickered faintly, casting long shadows across the polished floor. Machines beeped in a steady rhythm, each sound a reminder of how fragile life could be. Nurses moved swiftly between patients, their faces calm but eyes heavy with unspoken concern. In the corner room lay Anna, pale and still, her body barely responding to the doctor's relentless efforts. A cluster of wires and tubes connected her to machines that seemed to be fighting harder than her own body. Her chest rose in shallow breaths, fragile and uneven like a candle flickering in the wind. Her family stood nearby, hands clasped tightly together, whispering silent prayers. Every second stretched painfully long, each tick of the clock heavier than the last. To the doctors, she was another patient slipping away. To her loved ones, she was everything, and hope was fading fast. Long before the ICU walls and the suffocating smell of antiseptic, Anna's world had been filled with joy, and much of it came from Thor, her loyal canine partner. He wasn't just a dog. He was her shadow, her protector, the silent guardian who understood her in ways words never could. They had met when Thor was barely a year old, a young German shepherd with restless energy and piercing amber eyes. Anna, working with the local police unit, had been assigned as his handler. At first, the bond was professional, training, discipline, long hours in the field. But over time, it became something deeper. Thor seemed to sense her moods, her fears, even the days when the world felt too heavy for her shoulders alone. Neighbors would often see them running together at dawn, his paws pounding the pavement in sync with her footsteps. At night, when exhaustion pressed down, Thor would curl at her feet, a living reminder that she was never alone. In every victory, in every dark moment, he had been there. To Anna, Thor wasn't just a canine partner. He was family. And now, as she fought for her life, he refused to let her go. Outside the ICU doors, Thor paced like a soldier stripped of his duty. His nails clicked sharply against the hospital floor, his ears twitching at every sound from inside. Nurses tried to shoo him back, but he stood his ground, chest heaving, eyes fixed on the room where Anna lay. Hospital policy was clear. No animals allowed inside critical care units. But Thor was no ordinary animal. His low growl rumbled each time a staff member passed by, his gaze sharp, unrelenting, as if daring them to ignore what he already knew. Anna's family pleaded with the doctors. "Please," her brother begged, pointing at the restless German shepherd. "He won't leave. He senses something. Just let him in for a moment." But rules were rules, and the staff shook their heads firmly. Still, Thor refused to budge. His whining turned into sharp barks echoing down the sterile hallway, drawing curious glances from other visitors. Even seasoned nurses exchanged uneasy looks. Dogs didn't act like this without reason. Finally, one officer who recognized Thor's reputation stepped forward. "That's not just a pet," he said firmly. "That's a trained canine. If he's this insistent, we'd better pay attention." With reluctant nods, the ICU staff yielded. The heavy doors swung open and Thor padded inside, his body tense, his nose lifted high as if following an invisible trail. Everyone watched in silence, unaware that in the next few moments this dog would change everything. The room grew tense as Thor entered, his paws silent against the cold tile. He moved with purpose, sniffing the air, circling Anna's bed like a detective tracing invisible clues. Nurses exchanged uncertain glances, their hands frozen over charts and monitors. This wasn't procedure, it was instinct, and everyone could feel it. Anna's condition continued to slip. The heart monitor stuttered with uneven beeps, her breath shallow, her skin pale as snow. Doctors hovered, murmuring about oxygen levels, blood pressure, medications. Nothing made sense. Every adjustment brought no change. Hope drained with each passing second. But Thor wouldn't stop. He pressed his nose against Anna's hand, then suddenly jerked his head toward one of the machines. His bark shattered the silence, loud and demanding. Startled, a nurse checked the device again, but everything appeared normal. "It's fine," she whispered, though her voice trembled. Thor growled low and deep as if defying her. He pawed at the base of the machine, barking again, his amber eyes burning with urgency. Was it coincidence? Was he merely reacting to stress? Or was he pointing them toward something unseen? Doctors hesitated. Logic told them to trust the equipment. But emotion, instinct, Thor's insistence suggested otherwise. The line between science and intuition blurred in that moment. One young resident finally stepped closer, drawn by the dog's persistence. "Wait," he muttered. "Maybe he's onto something." No one realized it yet, but Thor was about to expose the truth that machines had missed. Thor's bark cut through the room again, sharper, louder, almost desperate. He lunged toward the machine beside Anna's bed, teeth snapping at the cords as though trying to rip them free. A nurse gasped, pulling back in alarm, but Thor didn't stop. His body trembled with urgency, his gaze never wavering from the device. "Get him out of here," someone shouted, panic echoing through the ICU. But before the order could be carried out, the young resident knelt beside the machine, curiosity flashing in his eyes. He traced his hand along the tubing, following it from the pump to Anna's arm. His brow furrowed. "Something wasn't right. Wait, stop," the resident exclaimed. His fingers tightened on the line. He looked up at the supervising doctor, face pale. "This isn't delivering oxygen. It's leaking. She's not getting what she needs." The room froze. Nurses rushed to check the readings. Hidden beneath the hum of the monitors, a crucial connection had slipped loose. Thor had sensed it before anyone else. The supervising doctor barked commands now, urgency flooding his voice. "Secure the line! Prepare emergency ventilation, now." The staff scrambled, movements frantic but precise. Thor stepped back only when the hiss of fresh oxygen filled the room, his ears twitching as the machines adjusted. Anna's chest rose a little higher. The monitor steadied with stronger beeps. The tide was turning. Everyone stared at the German shepherd, stunned into silence. A moment ago, they had dismissed him as a distraction. Now it was clear. Thor had just saved her life. What the machines had failed to reveal, what human eyes had overlooked, her loyal K9 had uncovered with unshakable determination. He had done the unthinkable. The ICU, once drowning in panic, now pulsed with relief. The steady rhythm of Anna's heart monitor filled the room. A fragile but undeniable promise that life had not yet slipped away. Doctors exchanged quick nods, their hands moving with renewed confidence as they stabilized her condition. Her family pressed closer, tears spilling freely, their eyes flicking between Anna's rising chest and the dog who had refused to give up. Thor sat quietly now, his body relaxed but his gaze locked on his partner, as though silently daring her to leave him. One of the senior doctors removed his mask and shook his head in disbelief. "If it weren't for him," he admitted softly, "we would have lost her tonight." The words hit everyone like thunder. In that sterile hospital room, amidst wires and machines, it was clear. Anna had been pulled back from the edge by her loyal K9. Hours later, Anna's eyes fluttered open, weak but alive. Her family rushed to her side, but her gaze searched only for Thor. The German shepherd leaned forward, tail wagging softly. With trembling lips, Anna whispered, "Thank you." The room fell silent. Everyone knew this dog wasn't just loyal. He was her miracle,